Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out the Road to Fame video from Insomniac that was released for Dreamcatcher's 6th anniversary. I'm a little bit late getting to this video, but I did really want to finish up the intro stuff that I was doing for the individual members before I started to check out all of the kind of extra goodies of figuring out the journey that Dreamcatcher has gone through. This was like re-requested by one of my patrons, so I was like, you know what, we've done the introductions, let's sit down and see what this whole road to fame is, what kind of the story is of Dreamcatcher as a whole and how they came to this moment. I know a little bit about it because you guys have filled me in the comments about like re-debuting and that kind of a thing. So I don't know exactly what parts of the story are going to be in this, but I'm excited to get a bit of an overview of their journey over the last 6 years. I also have tissues within easy reach because I do not trust this video to not make me cry. I am a crier, so it won't take a whole lot. And I couldn't get through the song Reason without like tearing up, and I didn't have much context for that song, so we're going to check this video out and hopefully get a better idea of what Dreamcatcher's journey has been so far. Let's see where this video takes us. I don't know do the fan chants yet. I just realized that. I would like to know the fan chants.
저희가 그 5년 전을 더해서 7년 전에 밍스라는 그룹으로 수아, 시연, 지유, 유연, 다미가 먼저 데뷔를 했었어요.
Yes, I remember hearing about this in comments.
근데
I haven't checked out any of that music yet though.
네. 컨셉이 좀 경쟁력이 없다라는 생각이 들으셨나 봐요. 그래가지고 어느 날 저희를 한 자리에
Look how young they are.
우리가 이름을 바꿔서 새로운 컨셉으로 새로운 그룹으로 데뷔를 할 거야. 회사에서 굉장히 현명하게 생각을 잘 한 것 같아요. 그래서 가연이와 공이가 새롭게 투입이 돼서 드림캐쳐가 탄생하게 돼요. 한 가족이 되었어요.
I love that of like we became a family. I love that so much. They do seem so close, but also like all I could think of is how scary that would be to have to start over basically, even if like it was still within the field that you had done all this training and spent all this time on, and then suddenly you have to like redo, right? Like I can't even imagine. But it turned out well, so I miss going to concerts. It's been so long. Okay, I'd like to know the context of the costumes. I'm already getting teary-eyed. It's fine. It's just being proud of them.
이제는 근데 딱히 그런 부담감이 좀 덜어진. 그러니까 우리가 하는 것 자체가 그냥 우리 드림캐쳐니까 뭐든 다 멋있게 잘 봐주셔가지고 감사해요 저희.
저희 시작 전에 인사드리겠습니다. 둘, 셋. 대구가 안녕하세요. 드림캐쳐입니다. 잘 부탁드립니다.
Oh,
어릴 때
you can't just throw all those pictures at me. That was so cute.
어릴 때부터 부모님께서 음악을 많이 틀어주셨어요. 제가 자연스럽게 그 음악에 춤도 추고 축제 이렇게 열리면 나가서 막 애들 모아서 춤추고 노래하고 약간 이런 걸 재미로 하다가 가수가 된 것 같아요.
제가 아직 미리는 못하지만 가사랑 멜로디를 우리 썸녀들 생각하면서 한번 써봤거든요.
어릴 때부터 그냥 꿈이 뭐야? 이러면 나는 당연히 가수? 약간 이게 좀 당연했던 것 같습니다.
Oh, I love that of her talking about like her performing when she was younger and stuff because like same. Okay, little story time about me as a kid. It used to be that I would go and see like variety shows and stuff because my family is really into like music and acting and that kind of a thing. So we would go to these variety shows and somehow I would remember like every single detail about these performances and I would just do all of it. And we have like home videos of me like going and doing like a whole variety show reenactment all by myself. So like her saying I would just always be singing and dancing, and like it was natural for me to start dancing when there was music on. It's just like something I feel. I feel like my face is just like stuck in a smile and Zia's around. We do like cherry.
드림캐쳐인 지우는 리더, 카리스마, 그리고
Agreed.
막내?
Charisma is definitely there. Uh-oh. I know who this is. Can we just talk about how Sua has queen energy, but is also chaotic? Oh!
저는
Cute pictures
정말
of her
어릴
too.
때부터 춤을 너무 좋아했었어요. 그래서 어떤 장기자랑이든 그런 곳에 나가는 거를 굉장히 재밌어 했고 친구들이랑 이렇게 막 준비하는 그 과정도 너무 재밌더라고요.
My goodness.
제 매력을 찾은 느낌이었어요. 어릴 때부터. 그래서 그냥 자연스럽게 춤추면서 노래도 접하게 되고 그렇게 하다가 지금까지 오게 되었어요. 빰 하나 둘 챙기고 한 손에
So does she help with going through choreo then? Like is she, because I know sometimes with groups they have like dance leaders, and I don't want to give like a specific title to anyone because I don't really think that titles and positions really matter, at least for me, my experience going through groups. I just kind of look at like what people contribute, but there always is like a member who is kind of in charge of making sure choreo is what it needs to be. And that's not necessarily that they're choreographing it themselves, even though sometimes they do contribute to it, but a lot of it's like cleaning up and making sure that everybody is like synced up where they need to be. You need to like change the choreo sometimes to fit the stage if it's a bigger or smaller space than what you've practiced before, and that kind of a thing. So does she kind of walk them through that? Is that one of her roles? This may be answered soon and I've just paused too quickly, but let me know if there's like info about like her with that, because I know that she's one of the dancers and she's one of the older ones too, so
네.
좋아요.
has she taught some other younger people dancing? She does usually rock the choreo. I have yet to see a time when she didn't.
음악은 진짜 그냥 모든 제 감정을 다 소통할 수 있는
어때요?
좋은 것 같아요.
굿.
I recognize all these things now. Aww. I love all the pictures of them when they were younger.
가장 즐겁고 아름답다고 느낀 게 음악이었어요. 그래서 음악을 사랑하게 되었습니다. 그러다가 이제 음악을 직업으로 선택하게 된 계기는 막연하게 나는 노래를 그래도 좀 하니까 가수가 되겠지? 이렇게 생각하다가 저는 제가 아이돌이 될 줄은 몰랐어요. 가수가 되겠지. 근데 열심히 해서 이렇게 최종 멤버가 돼서 데뷔를 하게 됐습니다. 아주 행복한 결말이죠. 열심히 했답니다.
Well, like I love how they all talk about just their love of music and how it kind of is like an involuntary thing that just kind of moves them, because I think that you have to have that. I think there are some people who go into music or enjoy music and it doesn't necessarily affect them in a deeper level, but being someone like me who like music is such an important, like I always say music is my soul. Like there are certain things where I have a deep love for them or I care about them a lot, but I feel like music is my soul. If I, one of those things where it's like, if you had to lose one of your senses, what would it be? And I'm always like adamant that like I could not lose my sense of hearing, because if that ever happens, I'd be so sad because it would be a lack of music in my life. Or like if you could only do one more thing for the rest of your life, I always choose singing, because at least then I would have some kind of music with me. And I think that you need to have that kind of passion for music to like really move you. And I love that that's something that they, all of them, like back to back, that is something that moves them. And you know, also getting distracted by the fact that like Xi'an's voice, there's just something about it that is very pleasant. Like I feel like I could just sit and hear her talk and it'd be very soothing to me. I've never noticed that before, because I feel like a lot of the videos I've seen of them have been kind of chaotic when it's like little clips and things. I haven't spent a lot of time just hearing her just like talk in a normal communicative way, and it's very soothing to listen to. Her singing voice is also beautiful, but we've been through that. I feel like oddly proud to just like roll call them, you know, like, oh, my little cat ears.
저는 고등학교 때 처음으로 뮤지컬
Oh, cats,
캣츠를
yeah.
봤는데 인상 깊었어요. 음악을 해볼까라는 생각 들었고, 그때부터 성악을 배우고 한국 와서 실용음악과에서 음악을 배우고 지금 드림캐쳐가 되었습니다.
Yes, you are.
还是回到这里，回到初心，回到练习生，然后再继续练习，然后发现自己更多的可能性。
잘 할 수 있겠죠? 열심히 하겠습니다.
I believe in you. Oh, look at that dress. Oh no, it's a two-piece. Even better. Where do I get one? Look how beautiful. Okay, before we move on to Yohyun, and I know that, I love how she talked about how she saw the musical Cats and that like awakened kind of this need. And I talked in the reaction I did for the This Is Handong video, I was like, she seems very theatrical. Like there's something theatrical to the way that she performs, but the way that she just kind of acts. Like I was like, it reminds me a lot of the people that I knew going through theater. And her saying that Cats is part of like what motivated her really pulls from that. And I think it's interesting that it's something like Cats 2, which is very much about the spectacle of it. Like the story of Cats isn't as complex as some other musicals because it's more about the performance. Like if you were to describe what Cats is about to someone, they would probably look at you weird. And I think that's why there's kind of this bad rap around the musical of Cats. Like people get kind of confused by it because if you just hear the story, you're like, that's really weird. But if you see it, if you experience it, it's a very different thing. Like you have to see it to understand it. So I like that that's kind of the motivation too, of it's something where it's so pivotal to see the performance and to see the spectacle that is that performance to actually understand it. And I think that shows through her kind of theatrical style. But also I also got into singing because I watched a musical. Mine was Phantom of the Opera. I wanted to be Christine Daillet so badly, and it's still one of those things that kind of like sits in my head of like, what if maybe one day. I remember I almost got a chance to audition for like a version of Phantom of the Opera, but I was too young at the time to actually audition. I was only 15 or 16, so I wasn't old enough to actually do it, and I was devastated. I like how they all kind of have these moments of like having a house where there's always music, or just like feeling really connected with music and feeling it and having that be a way of expressing themselves, or seeing Cats. Like they all have these kind of ingrained things that pulled that musicality out of them. I'm still not over this song and I'll never be over it. Oh no.
원더걸스 선배님의 아이러니 뮤직비디오를 처음 보고
Wonder Girls.
세상에 아이돌이 있구나라는 걸 처음 알게 되었어요. 뭔가 인생을 살면서 한번 특이한 직업을 가져보고 싶다. 어차피 인생 한번 살면서 특이한 직업이 없을까? 그리고 원래 음악을 좋아하기도 했었고 아이돌이 한번 돼보면 어떨까?
My cheeks hurt because I'm smiling so much.
고등학교 2학년 때부터 준비했었던 것 같아요. 어떡하지?
너무 이 직업을 안 해보면 후회할 것 같은데. 다시 또 오디션 보러 다니고 회사를 합격하고.
저 한 번만 다시 해주세요. 아니 그러니까 한 번만 그냥 그거 들어도 돼요.
들어왔어요.
Baby, please don't leave me this night. It's long and lonely, so put everything aside. Honey,
I'm not even going to go into this because we've already been there, done that. See my reaction if you want to see me lose my mind.
유현이는 진짜 R&B 발라드를 너무 잘 불러요. 그래서
She is, I
연습생
agree.
때 유현이가 부르는 곡을 다 좋아했어요.
Is that the first member where they've said specifically that they wanted to be an idol? Maybe Gio said that she wanted, because the other ones seemed like they just wanted to be singers or dancers or be in music, and it wasn't specifically an idol. That was just part of like the journey through that. Interesting that she said Wonder Girls, though, that was like a performance that she saw and she was like, oh, I just wanted to be a performer after that. I find that fascinating, especially since I'm one of those people who, whenever I see like a live performance, especially if it's like a concert, I always have a moment where I think, God, I would love to be on that stage, which is like something that most people don't think. I feel like people get stage fright, and I'm just like, the bigger the crowd, the more I want to be on that stage. Don't ask me. I'm a very socially awkward person, and in most circumstances do not like attention, but give me a stage and I will thrive. Okay, Dami, let's learn about you. Oh, little like pigtails.
초등학교 다닐 때 교내에 합창부가 있었어요. 해보고 싶다라는 생각을 가지고 오디션을 봤는데
So we started with choir.
그래가지고 여러 무대에 쓰다 보니까 약간 무대에서 딱 느껴지는 그 희열과 이제 객석에서 막 박수 쳐줄 때 응원 소리를 들으니까 기분이 너무 막 짜릿하고 좋더라고요. 그때부터 아 무대에 서면 이런 기분이겠구나. 계속 무대에 서는 직업을 하고 싶다라는 생각을 가지고 있었는데 지금까지 이렇게 아이돌로 이어지게 되었습니다.
I was just talking about how being on stage is something that I like thrive on, and she had a similar thing. I also sang in choir because I'm that cool. I didn't enjoy it as much though. Whoa! No, hang up, we're rewinding for that trick. Wow. I just love Dami's eyes so much. This is not important to anything that's just happened. I just want to talk about how I like her eyes. And of course the maknae. Oh! I shouldn't call her cute. I can call him tiny. Gahyun cute, right?
그러다가 음악이 좋아져서 가수의 꿈을 꾸게 되었습니다. 교회에 다녔는데 거기에서 합창단을 하게 되었어요.
Okay, so choir too, but
실용음악
not through
학원에
school.
다니게 되었고요. 그 다음에 예고에 진학을 하게 되었다가
Ooh, art schools. That's so cool to me. We don't have
예고에서
easily
선생님의
accessible art
추천으로
schools where I'm from.
기획사에 들어오게 되었습니다.
Like, I find it fascinating that there are schools that are specifically for like arts, because that's just not a thing in Canada. Or if it is, it's crazy expensive, which is not the life that I grew up in. Okay, I went to public school where it was free and it was questionable the quality of education you were gonna get. Like for my school, my elementary school, we didn't have a music room, which is why all of my music stuff is mostly singing, because I could sing anywhere and I didn't need like equipment for that. So that's, I think, a big reason why I went to singing, and also why I think acting and skit acting was kind of more something that I was drawn to, because we had a stage at my school, but we didn't have pianos or guitars or like a place where I could learn to read music and stuff. So it was easier for me to just like do a funny skit and, I don't know, get a laugh and be entertaining. And it was a lot harder for me to do something with music. Whereas going to like a whole music school, that would have like blown my mind. I'm sure that I would have like thrived in that. But I did go to a kind of an art school in that like visual art was really supported. We had lots of stuff for visual art, which is part of the reason I really got into like painting and drawing and stuff like that, because there was a support system for that and it wasn't sports. So I find it so interesting that places like South Korea have art schools where you can just go and like learn about singing and dancing and playing instruments and stuff, because that's just something so beyond my comprehension. But I love that that was like something that she studied with. I love how it's kind of like a mixture of things of like where people started, whether it was choir, whether it was just like performing in like talent shows, or like wanting to be in musicals, or wanting to, you know, be the idols that they saw in performances and things like that. Just like seeing how, even though they've come from all these different influences and all of these different backgrounds of like why they're doing music or how they trained in music, that they all just blend together really well. And I think part of it is because they're unique, is that they all like stand out, and yet they've found a way to like mesh together with all these different like even styles to their singing and like influences in their music. I'm allowed to call her cute for this one, so I'm going to take an opportunity and say she's cute.
항상 생각하기론 어떻게 가족 같을 수가 있지? 이런
I like the
생각을 좀
hats.
많이 해왔거든요.
Oh, this part is probably going to make me cry if it's about bad family.
근데 멤버들이랑 이제 진짜 8년 됐죠? 7, 8년 된 시점으로 지금 돌이켜보니까
다음 사람.
진짜
Oh.
가족 같아요.
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
인형인 것 같아.
근데 이런
I agree.
사람들이 이제 나중에 떨어지게 된다고 하면은 정말 슬플 것 같아요.
드림캐쳐로 계속 좋은 음악 하고 싶어요. 저희가 계약 기간이 얼마 안 남았거든요.
멤버들하고 얘기를 할지 모르지만 이게 사실 탈퇴 없이 재계약했으면 좋겠다.
맞아요. 저희 맨날 그 얘기해요.
그 얘기해?
네, 같이 하자고.
같이 한번 해보는 것도 너무 좋을 것 같아.
I'm getting emotional with them talking about not being together. Okay, good.
요새 이런 생각 많이 들어요. 운명이라는 게 중국에서 왔잖아요. 어떻게 이렇게 만날 수가 있지?
그래, 우리 동희 잘 지내니? 동희. 그래, 동희야. 우리가 투어를 하는 도중에도 우리 동희를 항상 데리고 다녔어.
동이는 뭐 하고 있을까요, 여러분?
동이야! 니 잠깐만.
제가 방금 위챗으로 보냈어요.
저는 쉽니다.
I did hear that like wasn't
통화.
Handong like
동의 없는
in China for a
동이랑
while?
잘 지내고 있을까요?
네.
그
And she
안에서
wasn't
많은
with them?
분들이 그래도 생일 축하를 받고 있겠죠?
그럼요.
아, 생일과야 하면서.
가만수가 모인 V앱은 오랜만 아닌가? 그러게. 오랜만이야. 심하면 되겠다. 맞아.
Oh.
또 있나?
This is making me emotional because
제가 그때
they're missing one.
저번에 멤버들 위앱하는 거 봤어요.
And they're like constantly thinking of her.
봤어요.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, me too.
야, 지금 우리 보이스
Oh.
눈물 날것 같아. 생일 축하해요, 수아언니.
Especially since it's a member that like joined later and they're all like
약간 걱정했거든요.
still really upset that she's not around.
이렇게 만나서 살짝
Ugh.
무식하면 어떡하지 이런 걱정했는데 완전 없어요. 어제처럼 그냥 마음 잘 통해서 그래요.
정규
Oh.
1집 때
Sorry, the thought of like our hearts just understood each other. Hang on. Look, I knew this was gonna make me cry, but I didn't know that this was going to make me cry. Like the video, I was like, some point I'm gonna break, but I didn't know that it was gonna be about them not being together or talking about like a future where they're not together. Okay, it's fine. I'm fine.
때는 동의가 없었거든요. 이번에는 동의까지 함께한 완전체 정규. 돌아와줘서 기뻐.
동동. 야? 그냥 불렀어.
That's cute. Of like just like acknowledging she's there.
거잖아요, 원래.
수원이 그냥 오늘 약간 오늘 그냥 수원이 빨리 숙소 가서 재호야 빨리 방에 그냥 그 침대에다 그냥 이렇게 침대 이불 속에다 그냥 이렇게 가둬놔야 돼. 야 너무한 거 아니야? 왜 침대 좋아요? 아니 가둬놓는데 이불 가둬놓으면 제가 눈에 숨을 쉬게 한다 했어요. 싸우지 마세요. 야 이불 당연히 숨을 못 쉬는 거 아니야? 야 어제 얼굴까지 한다고 했어요.
I like how they're like trying to control it. Like Shion's just like, hang on, no fighting, cut it out. And then I just like see Tommy in the corner. Just like her little face when all this is happening. And she just sat there like, yeah, this happens. Thank you for the laugh after I got emotional.
옛날에는 사소한 일로도 많이 싸웠던 것 같은데
걱정돼서 왔어. 방금 전 닦았는데 여기다 뽀뽀했어. 보이세요? 이 입술? 이렇게 두꺼운 입술? 시원 언니 거예요.
지우 언니가 저한테 차갑게 굴어서 저 방 나가기로 했어.
방 나가기로 했다. 이시연 씨. 그럼 언니 어디서 살게? 이리 와.
너네 방?
이리 와 애기야. 아니 언니. 아니 요즘에 동원이 1층에서 잔다고.
요즘은 너무 서로를 잘 파악하고 그리고 잘 이해하니까
이제 와서? 장난이었어. 귀엽다는 말이 진짜 싫어. 진짜? 미안. 그러면 청순해. 청순해. 아, 청순해. 멋있어. 여전사 같아.
진짜 약간
You're like a walrus. Warrioress. No!
저의 best friend, Dreamcatcher.
Oh. I love that. I mean, I also think that a lot of the time with groups, there's always that time at the beginning where they're kind of figuring each other out, especially like they're usually really young. So like when you're a kid, it's a little bit harder for you to like figure out how to work with other people or to figure out how other people think because you haven't really experienced a lot of stuff yet. So it's hard for you to put yourself in other people's shoes in the same way that it is when you're older or if you just know someone really well. And when you put a bunch of people together who need to spend like basically every hour of every day together, like suddenly you have to spend that much time with the people, yeah, you're going to be fighting. It happens with like performances that I've been into, like you do a play and you're suddenly with a bunch of people that you don't know and you're spending hours upon hours with these people and you're tired and you're overworked and you're frustrated because things aren't working and all of that stuff, like, and you're going over the same tedious details over and over again. Yeah, you get frustrated in general with the process, but when you're mixed with people whose personalities you don't know, you don't understand what is going to bother them or what they're going to do that's going to bother you, so you can't like gauge that well. So I totally get why there's fighting at the beginning, but seeing them now where they talk about being a family and seeing how upset they were when Han-dong wasn't there and they like kept kind of forgetting that she wasn't going to be part of it, like they're used to talking about like being seven and being a whole group, and then there's that moment of, oh no, but Han-dong isn't here and stuff like that. So seeing the family that they've been together, and I think that, yeah, you can have groups where they don't feel that family tie, and I think that that's okay. Like some people get, I don't know, bent out of shape about that if there's like a K-pop group that's like not that close and they don't feel like family. They're performers, it's a job. It's okay if they don't get along, especially with like really big groups. No one is going to be that attached to each other. You don't necessarily have to get along. Like I've been in plays where there are people in the cast I don't get along with, but that's okay because you could be a professional and do your job and still get along. It's just that you don't necessarily want to hang out with each other. But I love getting to see that they're like found family, like the title of this part says, and just seeing how much they care about each other and take care of each other and like joke around and stuff. Like they're so sweet and it just warms my heart and makes me cry.
저희 장르가 락이다 보니까 그거에서 약간 차이점이 있는 것 같아요. 락을 기반으로 노래를 하는 그런 아이돌은 제가 살면서 못
It's
봤거든요.
true that rock is not usually an idol genre.
너희 유럽 투어가 잡혔어. 그래서 에? 저희가요?
런던, 리스본, 마드리드, 암스테르담, 베를린, 바르샤바, 파리 이어서 여름엔 부에노스아이레스, 산티아고, 리마, 와, 왜 이렇게
Yes.
저희 멤버들이 열정이 진짜 넘쳐요. 모든 아티스트 분들이 그러시겠지만 하나하나 진짜 진심인 편이에요.
너 여기 있잖아. 어디지? 3절? 조금더 나가면
저희 멤버 개개인이 정말 그 능력치가 너무 높아서 저희 팀으로도 보여줄 수 있는 곡들이 앞으로도 더 많기 때문에 무한한 가능성이 있다고 생각합니다.
I really like getting to see some of their, like, I don't know, professionalism, like some of the stuff that goes into the work being put into this stuff, because up to this point, like I've said, I've basically only seen like fun compilations with the introductions and then music. I haven't seen any of like the behind the scenes stuff or anything that would be focused on them like legitimately working through stuff. So that's always fascinating to me. Like, as someone who has done that, has been a performer and has done kind of the less fun work that goes into making a performance really great, I always like seeing that because I think that that like really shows the character. Like, yeah, you can have like a fun personality for interviews and little fun videos that you're posting where you're allowed to have that kind of fun side to you and just kind of connect with fans and stuff like that. But it's always the most fascinating to me to see the professional performer, serious, like inflow concentrated version of idols, because I think that that really shows off that they're not just personalities, they're not just, you know, the perfect image and things like that. They're extremely hard workers, and I think that it's important to showcase that. And I love them talking about how they are really concentrated in the little details, and you know, they're trying to correct that with each other of like making sure everyone's on the same page and stuff like that.
드림캐쳐인데 굿나잇으로 이번에 컴백했거든요. 사람 많이 해주세요. 네, 많이.
I haven't gotten to good night yet. Almost.
네, 홍보하고 있었어요.
Maybe by the time this video is up. I don't know. Now I think about it, I'm like, I don't know what order this is gonna be.
이번에 컴백했거든요. 사람 많이 해주세요. 네, 많이 사랑해주세요.
Why are we on a basketball court?
네, 홍보하고 있었어요. 저기 가면 수지가다. 셀프 PR, 셀프 PR.
Is that why then?
춤을 춘다 해도 사람들은 안 볼 것 같아.
안녕하세요. 저희는 드림캐쳐입니다.
저희가 락을 하니까 락은 이제 뜨고 싶으면 락하면
Whose head?
이런 식으로
하늘 갔다. 아 참.
그것도 다 그분들만의 견해일 뿐인 건데.
Agreed. I love rock music, so. And look where they've come. I've been sent links about this.
2022년 세계 최대 음악 페스티벌 중 하나인 락 페스티벌 프리마베라 사운드에
I
저희가
have it saved. We'll get there someday.
가수로 유일하게 초청이 됐어요.
어머나. 1년 동안 열심히 준비를 해서 갔다 온 곡이
All the little ears.
역시나 그 이상으로 팬분들께서 너무 열심히 잘 챙겨주셔가지고 또 가고 싶어요.
독일에 도착하자마자 비행기가 안 뜬다는 거예요. 저희 스페인으로
Oh no.
가야 되는데 그 프리마베라 측에서 전세기를 띄워줄 테니까 오라고 해가지고 그때 우와 전세기 우와 아, 좋은데
Signs that you've made it. When someone sends a private jet. Ugh, getting like overwhelmed by all of it, but I have been sent links for this performance, so eventually I'll get to it. I'm trying to make sure that I've like heard the songs on the set list before I dive into that stuff. Also, live performances are over on Patreon, so you can go and check them out there if you would like. Some of them are already there, but I love how it's kind of this moment of like them being very aware that this is a bit of an uphill battle, and them knowing that rock music isn't exactly trendy in South Korea, and it's not something that is easy to sell or is usually connected with idol culture. But as people have kind of told me in the comments, like it's something that they really enjoy, and it's a unique sound for them, and I think that that is something that works in their advantage. Honestly, I think it does work in their disadvantage in a lot of ways, but I think it's also an advantage because it makes them stand out. It makes them unique. It makes people remember them. Even like me, like coming across their music, I was like, I have not heard something like this. Like before I started doing reactions, I remember hearing little bits of their music and going, wow, this is not something that I'm used to hearing with like K-pop idols. This is not the sound that I associate, but it is a sound that I love in, you know, other countries' music, like people from other places. So I think that it does make them memorable, if nothing else. And they've done a really good job of like utilizing that and writing really good music and doing these really great performances and continuing to connect with their fans. Like there's so much content, like it is overwhelming but also exciting. It's so easy to learn about who they are and get invested in who they are as fans. You know, once you already fall in love with the music, you can fall in love with the members. And I think that is something that for people who like rock music isn't necessarily something that we get a whole lot. It's probably changing a bit more now that there's like the internet and things, but I feel like the whole like rock star thing is a bit aloof and mysterious, whereas like Dreamcatcher are like very connected with their fans and who they're performing for. So I think that all of it combined makes for a really unique experience. Ooh, look at Xian's outfit. Where do I get that one?
왜 컴백할 때 그 목표나 소망 같은 걸 얘기를 하잖아요. 근데 그럴 때마다 저희가
If this is gonna show their award again, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I haven't fully gotten into the whole award thing yet, but it made me cry in the Reason MV.
저는 진짜 꼭 1위를 한번 해보고 싶어요.
저희 다음에
Oof.
희희님 1위 가져와. 1위 갈 수 있었으면 좋겠다.
3일날 컴백을 하는데 저는 진짜 꼭 1위를 한번 해보고 싶어요.
저희 다음에 1위 할 수 있을까? 할 수 있지 않을까? 소원이에요. 소원. 특히 1위 하는 거.
드림캐쳐가 그 1위를 해서 드림캐쳐.
I understand what that like that moment
약간 이런
in the Reason MV really got me, but I'm starting to understand some of the context of like if you've been a Somnia for a while, how important that moment would be.
방송도 좋고 뭐 이제 연말 시상식에서 상을 받아도 좋고.
1위.
Oh.
세계 체감 1위로 보는 거죠?
네.
1위 하고 싶다라는 말이 그 인터뷰를 할 때마다 쉽게 잘 안 나왔거든요. 그럴 때마다 이게 좀 자꾸 상식이 너무 커지니까 1위 하고 싶다라는 말을 하는 게 너무 힘들었는데
하고 싶지만 안 해도 활동을 이렇게 할 수 있는 것만으로도 전 좋은 것 같아요. 그냥 저희 노래를 들려드릴 수 있다는 게 좋은 거죠.
1위 꼭 안 하게 해도 돼요. 저는 그냥 여러분이 따르는 것만으로도 그냥 이렇게
I'm gonna get emotional again.
이렇게 멋있는 모습 보여주는 것만으로도 저는 굉장히 뿌듯하기 때문에 괜찮습니다. 이번 컴백 때 1등 할 거죠?
Because I know what is gonna happen.
근데 1등 하면 기분도 좋겠지만 잘 활동하고 있다는 거에 뿌듯하고.
저 UNI 첫 더쇼 1위 후보였을 때 그때 저희가 아쉽게 1위를 하진 못했지만 앞에 있던 썸녀분들이 우시더라고요. 근데 그 모습을 보는데 나도 1위를 못해서 슬프지만 나를 위해 더 슬퍼해주는 우리 썸녀들이 있구나. 그래서 그때가 좀 슬프지 않았나.
제가 2022년도에 이루고 싶은 소망은요, 저희 드림캐쳐가 진짜 탑! 정상!
The aggression.
뭐 되게 많겠지만 뭐 1위도 하고 싶고 무대 위에서 수상소감도 막 얘기하고 싶고 첫 녹화를 저는 한국 콘서트
Oh, I love how excited they are. Oh. I was like, is this the moment?
인썸니아가 있기 때문에 우리가 있다는 거
Oh.
평생 잊지 않고 우리 열심히 활동할게요.
This might sound like a fantasy. Don't worry, look up and you'll see. You're living a fairy tale.
Hang on, I'm crying. Which is ridiculous because I wasn't there, but at the same time, I'm just so proud of them. And you can see like all of the clips of them saying, we'd really love to win #1 and like talking about how that's something they want, but at the same time, almost trying to like comfort fans in the same way of like them knowing that their fans also get sad if they don't win and wanting it to be okay for them too. So they're like, it's okay if we don't win, you know, kind of that reassurance of like, either way, it's good because we have you, and like that kind of reassurance. And then seeing how excited they were for the nomination, and then them kind of like keeping track of like where they were and how they were like ranking and stuff. And then like the moment when they found out they got #1 and just, oh my God. It's fine. I'm proud of them. I'm sure that all of you are proud of them too, because it's just such a genuine moment that it gets me. I didn't know if that moment was going to be in here too.
지금 저희가 계속 얘기했던 게 이뤄졌어요. 약간 이뤄졌고 그래서 그런
Yes, on the bigger and greater things.
하고 나니 부담감보다는 저는 홀가분하고 이번 무대도 굉장히 열심히 즐길 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Oh. What a good note to like end on though. For it to be like, this is something that we wished for and we got it, and now there's a relief because we've like achieved this thing we wanted so badly. And now it's like, what's next? That's my question. Let me make sure there's nothing that I might miss. Also, credits to all the people involved in this. It was really well put together. I just want to start by saying that that was so well put together. Like, the editing in it, the storytelling was great. I loved the pacing of it. Just good. And I think also as someone who like doesn't know a ton of their music yet, it also wasn't like super heavy in some of the stuff that like I didn't know. Obviously, like if you haven't heard the solos, that may be different, but I'm kind of thinking of someone who's like new to Dreamcatcher, which I sort of am. I don't know what point I transition. I feel like I haven't heard enough music yet. That like you're not gonna get super spoiled for a bunch of stuff, which I think is like important for something like that. It was a good way of like being like, hey, here are all these like reminiscent moments for people who have known the group for a while. And then if you don't know the group, it's a nice like introduction to that journey. Also, was not expecting them, because I had heard that there was a time where Handong wasn't with the group because like with lockdowns and things like that, that she wasn't with them. And I knew that that was a thing, like vaguely, but like seeing them experiencing it made me so emotional. And then also their win, I kind of seen a little bit of it and got some of the backstory when I watched the Reason MV, but seeing all of the like the lead up, I think like makes a really good context for that moment and like what they went through to like that moment where they felt that relief and that overwhelm. And it's so genuine, and I love that for them. And I'm so excited for what they're gonna do next, because they've gotten that thing that they've like said for years, we want to get #1, you know, like we want that award, we want to have that moment. And now that they do, I'm like, okay, what's next for them? Because they don't have like that thing kind of hanging over them, right? Like that roof that they've hit where they can't quite get that thing that they most want. Well, now they have. So sky's the limit, right? So super excited to see what the next step is for them, what this next year is going to be for them. I feel like they're starting to get really big, even though I wasn't there for kind of the build up, but it seems that is where they're going, because I only heard about them recently in like the last couple of years, so I feel like that is kind of where they found their stride, and now that they have some of that, super excited to see more and more that they're going to do with their journey. So I hope that you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so miss next time I post a Dreamcatcher reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!